Indiana Jones, It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. The Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull drags in a good way, 1 minute at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
Hey, what you got under there? I'm Pete Muffert.
I'm the intern, Jerry Porter.
And today we are here to talk about minute 2 of Crystal Skull, which begins with Ray Winstone's credit as the teens pull past the army truck. And it ends with the teens drag racing with the lead sedan in this army convoy. And Pete, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because we get a lot more credits in this minute. If I told you that there was a movie out there starring John Hurt, Harrison Ford, Kate Blanchett, Jim Broadbent, Karen Allen, who else? Ray Winstone.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say? Would you be excited to see a movie like that?
I would think it would be like an Academy Award nominated, like epic of some kind. It would be amazing.
Yeah. Do you want to see the guy from Time Bandits, the guy from Alien, the kid from Transformers? Well, maybe not that.
No,
you know
you didn't mention him.
I did not. Although I will say this for Shia LaBeouf. I will say this.
Is it Shia or Shia? It is Shia, right?
I've always heard Shia.
Okay.
Yeah. He was fine in the movie Holes as a kid. You ever see that movie? It was good. Sigourney Weaver's in it. It's good, enjoyable kids movie sort of. But he's in one scene, I think, of the show Freaks and Geeks before he became big at all. And I didn't even know it was him. And he was really, really funny and really good. He's in like one scene as like this put upon, basketball mascot or something. And he's just complaining about how hot the suit is. And he's just like put upon and like doomed and like, I can't see in that thing. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. And he's really, really funny. And every time I get kind of annoyed with him or, a lot of people, are not excited about him. And he's been through a long and winding road with his career and stuff. But I always come back to that. I always think of that Freaks and Geeks scene.
Well, do you think that Spielberg and everybody had seen Transformers before they cast him in this?
Yeah, I think Spielberg produced Transformers.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I think he produced some other movie that he was in even before that.
Okay.
Disturbia? Is that it? I don't even know what it was, but I remember reading it in the Rinsler book. And he like immediately loved him. He thought he was fantastic.
Well, he was going to be the big star. I remember on this. He was going to be like River Phoenix, basically. I remember everyone was talking about him for a couple of years there. Like, oh my God.
So not remembering much about this film, but I have enough cultural awareness to know that Shia LaBeouf is the albatross on this movie. Well, actually, let me pose that as a question.
All right.
Is Shia LaBeouf the albatross on this movie?
In a movie filled with potential albatrosses, albitri, yeah, he's one of the sticking points.
Yeah, I would say he's one of them.
But is this just a classic Kate Capshaw case where it's really not his fault? This is a question that I'm sure we'll discuss throughout the film, but that's we'll set it up now because I'm smart enough, I've been alive enough to know that he's not remembered fondly for this movie, and this movie is not remembered fondly for him. And I'm wondering, is it a Kate Capshaw thing like the Willie issue where it's really not her fault?
It's the character.
It's how she was treated and handled and written.
Yeah, I'd like to keep an eye on that, but something about him just grates on me. Like the character does, but he does as well. So
interesting.
Yeah.
That's one of those cases. Like I've said before elsewhere, like there's some musicians, like no matter how good their songs are, you just can't enjoy them because you know that the guy singing is probably just complete jackass. Like I can't get behind U2 at all. Those guys just rub me the wrong way. I can't handle them as people. And so like, even if they have a good song, I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't do it. And I think that I wonder if that's what happens with him.
did we know we couldn't handle him as people when this came out, or is that a lot more recent?
I feel like I at the time only knew him from the Transformers movie or movies. I forget how many there were by then, and I knew I didn't care about those, and I think I was turned off by him. I think I didn't care. Yeah. I think I was annoyed to hear that he was in the movie. Not only because I wasn't into him, but it was also like, oh, duh. Like Spielberg uses the guy from Transformers. I get it. Like, no brainer.
Yeah.
Use your brain.
That's a great point, though, Pete. He's supposed to be the River Phoenix here, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, people were talking about, oh my God, this guy's going to be huge.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And he was for a while, and maybe he still will be. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're the anointed. You're the Jake Lloyd. Could you imagine?
Yeah, you're the
You're picked
Hayden
to be a
Christensen.
young Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Hayden Christensen seems like maybe a good comparison.
Yeah. Although, I mean, like I started to say, like if it's in a movie where you're not excited to see John Hurt or Jim Broadbent, you're kind of like, oh, maybe there's something else going on here. Maybe I can't blame Mr. LaBeouf.
But see, I like John Hurt and Jim Broadbent. I don't like them in this movie. Like, I really feel like I loved the casting in the first 3 movies so much. Mm-hmm. And I really feel like the casting in this movie is hard for me to get past. Like, I just don't feel like these characters work with these actors in this movie.
I tend to agree. And I'm hesitating just because, like, I know that going through this minute by minute, who knows what we'll end up thinking.
We might completely change our minds, right?
But yeah, like sitting here now, I do agree that it's like, oh, what's John Hurt doing in this movie?
Yeah.
Or like, hey, there's Jim Broadbent. Like, I'm looking at Jim Broadbent. Okay, I'm not thinking about anything else except that Jim Broadbent's in this movie. Okay, fine. I'm thoroughly distracted.
Jim Broadbent's like a Samuel L. Jackson for me. Like, I can't see him and not see Jim Broadbent. Like, I can't watch Star Wars and not say, oh, that's Samuel L. Jackson.
Right.
Like, I can't see Jim Broadbent as a character and not be like, oh, that's Jim Broadbent.
He's playing a very standard Jim Broadbent sort of character in this, though. Mm-hmm. I love that Jerry has no idea who Jim Broadbent is, by the way. I can just feel it. I feel it.
I was actually just looking up. I remember this too. Like, boeuf in French means beef.
He spells it wrong though. It's not spelled like boeuf.
Little.
Like
well, maybe that's the problem.
Yeah,
it's
the
not
E and the
real
O
meat.
like reversed.
He's not the real beef in this.
Yeah.
We need a T-shirt that says spelled like boof.
Well, so the soldiers in the back of the truck, they greet the hot rod with scorn and contempt.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, did they live such Procrustean lives that they shun such ballyhoo?
Yes.
I'm laughing because I know Jerry just learned that word today.
Stop outing me, Pete. that
was a very nice usage of it. I'm actually very impressed.
Pay no attention to that man behind the syllabus.
I just learned that word today too. So
I was like, let me try and shoehorn this in. I don't know. I also looked up ballyhoo. I mean, I had an idea.
Hip hip hooray and ballyhoo.
Yeah.
What was the actual definition of ballyhoo?
Oh yeah.
It's the same as like it's kind of along the lines of like a Donnybrook and Donnybrook is a little further down the line. Ballyhoo is a lot of noise and commotion.
Yeah.
And
what about a hullabaloo?
Yeah, it's close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like tomfoolery.
Yeah.
A bit. They're all a little bit. They're all a bit different.
What do bed bugs have to do with ballyhoo?
Oh my God! Wait, what is that?
Is that a Jesus and Mary chain song?
Oh, really?
Or is it
Wow.
Echo and the Bunnymen? One of them. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Which I'm going to say I'm jumping ahead in the minute here. I'm jumping ahead, but this is a perfect time. You said Jesus and Mary chain and Echo and the Bunnymen. So my question for either one of you:
does Marion have lips like sugar kisses? Oh, sorry.
No. Have either one of you ever owned Chuck Taylors? And now, Pete, I think I have your answer.
You might be surprised.
No, Jesus and Mary chain, Echo and the Bunnymen, and you've never worn a Chuck Taylor.
Never have. I was always a Vans guy.
Oh, I was a Vans guy too.
Yeah.
I never.
So you were generally in one or the other camp.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Or for a while when I was a kid, it was Airwalks.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. Or
So
Vision
neither one
Streetwear.
of you have ever owned Chuck Taylors.
No. They never look very comfortable. Not that Vans are super comfortable.
Vans aren't either though. Like they just have that flat sole. Like it's just
yeah.
Hard
rubber.
I mean, let's be clear. Those Vans are what they give you when you check into the nursing home. Then they are.
Not if they have cool little checkered beetle bugs on them, Jerry.
No, exactly. I mean, they're done well with palm trees and like a tie-dye thing, and totally. But that's what they are.
They totally are.
I wondered, are those cool today? Are Vans cool today?
I think
they were 10 years ago. I don't know if they are today.
I feel like I've seen them more often
Tommy,
lately.
you have like an 11-year-old, right?
Yeah.
Well, go ask him.
He's not going to know.
He's just going to complain, Dad, why don't you ever buy me good shoes?
Although, wow, he might get into those later.
He's going to have a pretzel stick in his nose.
Yeah. Why'd you make me wear Vans, Dad?
What? All right.
I like in this scene, what kind of car is this? This hot rod. We'll just call it a hot rod.
No, it's I had it in my notes from last minute.
Oh.
Yeah.
You maybe even said it last minute.
I don't think I did. I was too angry about everything.
Yeah, you were. I loved it.
Oh, it was a 1930 Ford Model A Roadster hot rod.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So the Model A Roadster hot rod is pulling up past the thing, and it's kind of neck and neck with the sedan in front.
Mm-hmm.
And I like this shot where there's a couple of cool shots in here. You're looking in the rearview mirror, like on the side of the car, the army car, and the camera sort of slides into the car, still looking through the mirror, and that's when you see the car, the kid's car next to them. It's kind of neat and weird.
Yeah,
I didn't even notice it until like the third or fourth time I watched the minute.
And what's great about that is it's a bit of a callback to Raiders when Indy's using his side mirrors.
Yeah,
all the
it is
time.
A little of that. Every time they hit the brake or the accelerator in this scene, I see like Indy's boots on there and stuff in Cairo.
But see, we'll get into this more next minute, but. Mm-hmm. We have a new director of photography. We've got Janusz Kaminski, and we don't have Douglas Slocum anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm of two minds here because you mentioned this shot, and there are a lot of really amazing shots in this movie. Like he did a lot. But this was when Spielberg made the change. Douglas Slocum wasn't around anymore, and Janusz ended up doing most of his movies from this point on. And so, or actually from Schindler's List on. But they both are great cinematographers, but this doesn't look like Raiders anymore. Like this doesn't look like Indiana Jones anymore, which I think is hard for me to get over in this movie. Like it doesn't look like the other three movies.
Yeah, no, there's definitely something like not just different, but also kind of lacking in a lot of it. A lot of like stuff that's supposed to be outside kind of clearly isn't and stuff like that. Something kind of claustrophobic about it. But I also, in a way... And I don't know if I chalk that up to like the director of photography or just like, well, it's 2008. It's a lot later. Yeah. It's a different kind of Steven Spielberg movie, I guess. But also maybe that's appropriate since like we've got this jarring Elvis playing. We've got hot rods and things, and it's a different era. So maybe it's okay that it looks a little different. It doesn't exactly feel like the 30s indie. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, I had a note here that it's second 13 when you see the hot rod reflected in the military vehicle's hubcap.
Yeah.
And I actually love that shot.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I thought, and that reminded me like just a great cinematography, like something I might see in Jaws or Raiders or Close Encounters, something like that. And what I dig about that is the hubcap is a perfect saucer too.
Yeah,
maybe like a flying saucer.
That's funny.
The way they put it in there.
Yeah.
Well, he's done some amazing movies though.
Yeah.
Like I mean, he did Schindler's List. He did Saving Private Ryan. Like some really gorgeous cinematography. Bridge of Spies, but it just, as much as I like the cinematography in those movies, it doesn't feel like the Indiana Jones movies to me.
Do you feel like even if Douglas Slocum had still been around, it would have looked like more like Raiders?
I don't know. Yeah, I have
not
no
more
idea.
Like Raiders.
The 2008
like
thing might be a problem with that too.
Yeah, that's kind of the sense because I don't think Last Crusade looks that much like Raiders, really. You know?
No,
like,
it doesn't.
They're all pretty different.
Yeah, but this just seems so different.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I mean, I'm sure it's, 20 years later makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
My I don't know about you, Tommy, but my Pete equilibrium is off.
I'm fascinated. Yeah, this is really interesting.
Because he's coming off, this Last Crusade, grabbed a stuffed animal and grab your loved one and a stuffed animal and cuddle up in your beanbag chair and watch the great movie that is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Wash over you. Yeah.
And now we're getting this Pete Mummert. This doesn't feel like an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah, something's wrong, and it's making me angry.
My appendix itches.
Everything's coming up stamp, guys. If I were time.
If we get through this movie and then Pete finally hates the stamp by the end of this movie, I'll be so excited.
Well, I'm gonna want to know. Not that I don't trust your opinion here, Pete, but I want to know. I don't know. Maybe this thread won't stay throughout the season, but if it does, I'm dying to know the difference between silly and silly.
Mm.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to explore.
Yeah, I feel like is it cheating to ask a question that like pertains to stuff that we talked about off the air?
No, I don't think so.
Because I feel like you watched this for the first time again, like maybe over the summer or something, like months ago.
Yeah.
Before we started, like even before
last year,
we were still doing Last Crusade.
Yeah.
And you didn't come out and say what you thought of it, but I got the impression like, I'm a little, maybe I was just totally misinterpreting it, but it felt to me like you were saying, I'm a little surprised by how I feel about this, that it's kind of better than I thought it was or something.
I was. Yeah. Which is weird now that I'm actually watching it minute by minute. I'm just like, this is horrible.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So after watching it for the first time in decades, you were kind of into it.
In toto, I kind of enjoyed it. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Because so this is really because that's where I was. I mean, I've watched now 2 or 3 minutes of it minute by minute after watching the whole thing a couple months ago for the first time in 15 years, whatever it's been, 10 years. Yeah. Oh God, maybe I'll catch your disease. I don't know. Or maybe it's not a disease. Maybe it's enlightenment. I don't know.
It's just good taste. I don't know. But I won't be. I'm not going to be negative Nelly the entire way through. Like there are some things I like about this movie.
Yeah.
But I just, man, it's hard to get off on a positive foot for me in my bands this time.
All right. You should wear the pink palm tree ones.
Hey, what do you got under there?
An engine.
That guy is having the greatest day of his entire life.
Yeah, the driver? Yeah.
No, the passenger. The blonde guy that yells at. He is having the happiest day he's ever had in his entire life.
Yeah, I can imagine the casting session for that was just like, make a really big smiley face. Okay, that's the guy. Thanks.
Well, you know what's interesting? I don't think he's talking about the car. He's talking about his belt buckle.
Could be.
He is a lot more interested in the army guys than the girls in the back seat.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think he's. It's interesting. I mean, is he chiding the driver or is he really curious?
He's asking. He wants to talk shop. He's like, he just fixed up his car. He's like, hey, what you got under there?
Yeah.
I'm yelling because we're driving real fast.
Got a Marcus and Sulla situation here. And
by the way, is that I don't know at all, but is that an Edsel?
Oh, that the army car?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it's a.
I'm not a car guy at all either.
Yeah.
Give me a minute.
I don't know. I can't tell you what's under my belt buckle. I don't know what I got.
None of us
there.
wants to know, Jerry.
Hey, while Pete's looking that up, I also really like the very next shot after the rearview mirror one, where the car is the two cars are right next to each other, and the hot rod swerves, and you don't know why until a truck goes by. I think it's really cool that you don't see the truck coming, and there's no sense of oh no, one of them's got to get out of the way. They don't build that up at all. It just appears, and that's almost more effective. Jesus Christ, they almost hit that truck.
That's nice.
I like this opening.
Yeah, I kind of do too.
I like it. It's listen, I love that the driver, the military driver is so tempted by this life of teenage profligacy.
Yeah. I mean, especially, Jerry, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but when you find out later the reality of these army guys, it's even more interesting.
Well, I've got some questions about that guy.
But be Moscow on the Hudson pretty soon.
It's a 1950 Ford Deluxe.
Oh, nothing but the best.
Yeah.
All right, good.
But it's interesting. It's a 1950 Army car, like Army sedan, versus a 1930 Model A. Even though it's a little bit souped up, I'm curious if this would actually be a pretty good race or not.
Huh.
Well, if you actually look at it a little bit later, they're going about 30.
Yeah, they are going.
Yeah.
There are a lot of
and what's
questions
interesting
about
is that, like, somebody, I think that the driver of the, the hot rod says, the Roadster, he goes like, "You want to race?"
Yeah.
But I don't think they ever really do.
Yeah.
Like, you see a bunch of like foot stomping, pedal to the metal, but no one really races.
In the script, they don't race.
Oh, really?
In the script, it says that the hot rod wants to race, and the guy, right when they're about to start to race, the guy in the passenger seat says, like, "This is where we turn off," and they turn off the road there.
Huh?
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
It is weird though, because like in the next minute, not to jump ahead, but when they do pull off, like the entire convoy is still right behind him.
Yeah.
Like the entire convoy, like drag racing teenagers.
Yeah.
But this Soviet guy, like, I'm curious. I'm kind of scared for this guy. Like, did he join the special forces just for this possibility? Like, is he going to defect?
Oh, yeah.
Right after they finish this mission? Because this seems to be what he's always wanted. He's also got the giant grin on his face, and he probably doesn't have a lot of chances to drag race in the Soviet Union. So this is it for him.
I actually had a really nice daydream about this guy for about 10 minutes, where he is part of this Russian team. Sorry, Jerry, they're Russians. We're spoiling it for you. And he actually defects because he's just so enamored with America and everything, and he defects and he becomes Indy's sidekick, and so Indy's got this weird, like, Russian expatriate sidekick the whole time.
So wait a minute, I don't remember this movie at all, and that one of my questions was, are these guys Russians? And so the answer is yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm wondering, is this another example of an Indiana Jones movie beginning where we get the old Army switcherooski?
Switcherooski.
Come on. You see what I did there?
That was good.
Yeah.
I liked it, Jerry.
Talking about how it begins, though, is this the only movie that doesn't begin with a standalone mission?
That is interesting, yeah.
This one just kind of begins with the movie, which I don't know if I like that either.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because like in the book or in the novelization, it begins with him like swimming through a cave in Mexico, like trying to find a Mayan artifact. So it's interesting that they didn't have anything like that in the movie.
Yeah. Even that would be kind of connected, because don't they get like sandbagged by the Russians and then brought here then?
Yeah, but that could be okay, because he kind of got sandbagged by Lao Che, and that's how he ended up in India.
You're right.
So it's just weird that it doesn't really have anything like that.
Yeah, that's true. Well, there's some weird things in this movie, Pete. Don't you worry.
But does this mean maybe he's given up his treasure hunting ways? Like maybe he's now actually a professor.
Oh, maybe.
He's not starting the movie like, he learned his lesson in Last Crusade, and he's no longer in it for the gold lust. Now he's, I want to teach kids. That's the true treasure in life.
I was in the middle of a field trip. These Russian sandbags.
Well, that would make sense. I mean, after Last Crusade and the ending of it, sure. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't expect him to be, grave robbing.
Yeah. And we don't have that, so.
I mean, that whole grave robbing thing got, cauterized.
Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah, that career as a marauder of antiquities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what I like about the teens in the car? There's we were recently on our bonus Patreon show over at patreon.com/Indiana Jones Minute. We were talking about Superman, and there's that scene early on in Superman where they're all going to Sue Ellen's house or whoever, and there's a pile of kids in the car and the boys and girls. But here we've got 2 girls and 2 guys, and to me that makes my heart sort of settled. Like, okay, everybody's already paired off. It's not. No one's going to be brokenhearted. There's nobody like oh, Jimmy's not looking at me. He's rather looking at Sue Ellen instead. Don't know. I like.
I don't know if we can make assumptions, Tom.
maybe not.
Mary Ellen and Sue may be into each other.
Okay.
That might be why the blonde
That's
kid
possible.
is into the driver, the Soviet driver.
Yeah, but you know what?
It's
If that's
very
the case,
complicated.
it's just a win-win all around.
That's true.
No matter what the answer. Well, who gets the Soviet driver to rebel? Is it the guy chiding or the woman's intrigue?
Yeah.
He seems excited by the whole thing, like just He seems excited by the race and probably, being goaded on by these youngsters.
Or just everything. Like, there's nothing like this in the Soviet Union.
The woman does that one maneuver that, in Hollywood movies is, I'm flirting with you. She kind of makes a bridge under her chin with her hand.
Please.
And goes, please. And she's got the love you on her eyelids.
Yeah, basically.
And I'm wondering, is he, whatever the answer is, he's driving with his new.
Basically, yeah. They don't.
Yeah,
show
that's
that,
what's going on. He's steering with his whoosh.
It's a stick shift, Jerry. Oh.
Is it possible that these kids are secret agents and they've been sent to distract these Russians?
Yeah. Like as soon as they pass the Atomic Cafe, they're like, they're just trying off to. Yeah.
Yeah.
These kids are all actually 40.
I could see that.
21 Jump Street.
The one thing you're like, what's gonna make a a Soviet Cold War era person veer off the road?
Well, that was a big part of spycraft during the Cold War was using sex to lure people and to get them, either distracted or to talk.
Yeah. And it always worked.
It did actually a lot of the time.
Yeah.
One thing I dislike a lot,
and
we get a lot of this in the movie, is Dovchenko, when they start drag racing, leans over very theatrically in the back seat of the car. And he does a lot of theatrical leaning in this movie.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't do a lot of talking, so maybe he makes up for it with Wookiee-like
the leaning. Yeah,
body language.
It's like he's a Sean German School of Mime guy.
Oh, maybe.
Because he's very over the top, like emotive with his actions.
That's true.
I just find it fascinating that this guy's leading a military convoy and he takes the bait.
Yeah.
It's a little and like there doesn't seem to be any repercussions.
Well,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. At least in this minute.
I mean, this is Stalinist Russia, though. I mean, he's going to get home and they're going to shoot him.
Yeah, like what would be worse if he was an actual American army guy who does this, or if he's a Russian spy doing this? I have no idea.
Right, if he's a Russian, he's dead. Like he's you don't do that.
Yeah.
Well, Pete, do you still not like Hound Dog in this?
I don't. I mean, I like the song. I still don't. It just doesn't feel like Indiana Jones, and maybe that's my problem.
Is it a little is it a little dumbed down? Like it's not exactly baseball, it's t-ball.
I wouldn't even say it's dumbed down. It's just so different. It's just like a different genre. I don't know.
Is there a musical cue that would have worked better for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about
the Smiths.
That. That would suck too. I don't know.
Well. So if we think about Temple of Doom has a popular number for the opening.
That's true,
right? And something that is appropriate for the year.
Yeah,
it's basically they use the song as the timestamp.
Right.
Yeah.
But they don't in Raiders and Last Crusade. So.
And any song that they would have played in either Raiders, Temple of Doom, or Last Crusade would have made sense. Like it would have. It's all like nobody check my math, but it's like 8 years or something between those three movies. Like it's not a ton of time. So like any old timey thing, you have Benny Goodman, something like that. Anything you throw in there would make sense to us from our generation. But then anything from the 50s is going to be kind of jarring.
Yeah, I just think of like Grease. I think of like you're going to put a cigarette pack under your shirt sleeve and roll it up, and you're going to have
that's
like the
where we
slick
are.
back hair.
That's what we got now.
Yeah. So do you have you don't really have a problem with the musical selection? You have a problem with the fact that the movie takes place 20 years later.
No, it has to take place 20 years later. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. Somehow it's not all coming together for me.
Hopefully
it does for a lot of people. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I kind of like it so far. There's something about like, I think we said this last time, just like, dropping Elvis right in there. You're kind of like, this is it. We're in the 50s. What are you going to do about it? Indiana Jones in the 50s.
Yeah.
This is where we are.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not sure if this fits like an Indiana Jones movie yet, but I like the opening.
Yeah.
That's all.
I'm very surprised. We've all taken surprising stances on this so far.
I'm scared.
It's only 2 minutes.
I don't want to go on.
I was still 2 minutes into Last Crusade. You were blowing up the house already.
Hey, do you want to hear some stats about this movie?
Yeah.
Sure.
It cost $185 million. Do you remember when Terminator 2 came out and it was $100 million and people just went berserk? They couldn't believe that a movie would cost $100 million, and like just a few years later, like everything.
That's because they got fined for playing Bad to the Bone because it was so stupid. They got a $90 million fine. Yeah, for playing Bad to the Bone, which is really, really stupid in a science fiction Terminator movie.
No, it's funny. It's a sight
if you saw
gag, Jerry.
anything, yeah, exactly.
Wait, how much did this cost? Did you say 180?
$185 million.
Wow.
That's a lot. That's especially in 2008.
But yeah. How much did how much did the prequels cost?
Now I got to look that up.
Yeah.
Talk amongst yourselves.
See how you enjoy it.
Well, it'd be interesting. I wonder how much.
$113 million for the Revenge of the Sith.
Oh really?
God. Yeah.
So this not only did this cost substantially more, they didn't even finish the special effects on this one. That's weird to me.
That is
like,
actually
this doesn't
weird.
feel like it cost that kind of money.
That's Karen Allen money.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
But the good news is it grossed $786 million worldwide.
Wow.
Which put it
that
in
means
wow.
People saw this more than once.
Yeah. Yeah. This is interesting. The top it was number 3 domestically for the year. After The Dark Knight Batman movie and Iron Man movie.
Huh.
Really?
Which is kind of fascinating because that's actually really fascinating. Like that's like Dark Knight and like Iron Man's the beginning of the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
right?
Which we're still like in the throes of, like over 10 years later and stuff. And that's weird. It's like a weird like little switch or like passing of the torch or something. I don't know what it, or a trouncing of the old guard or something, like these old blockbuster masters, getting taken over by these new guys.
Yeah, but if you had told me there's an Indiana Jones movie coming out and there hadn't been one out for 20 years, I would think that would be probably the highest grossing film of the year.
Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like Iron Man and Dark Knight, those were monsters. Those were huge. Yeah. Those were like phenomena. And it's the 66th highest grossing film domestically of all time, between the first Harry Potter and the first Lord of the Rings. There you go, Pete. All your favorites all in one place.
Oh yeah.
Wow, I'm blown away.
Like, why didn't they say, hey, let's make another Indiana Jones movie?
Like right after this, you mean?
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things that, I mean, well, Phantom Menace was a massive monster hit and a lot of people hated its guts and want to see it dead and want to see it burned with fire.
So is this the beginning of toxic fandom?
That's a good question. Well, we're already knee deep in the.
We're a little bit into it at this point, but are we starting to sort of really dig? Is that starting to really sink its teeth into stuff like this?
It could be. Yeah. I mean, they came for indie finally, I guess. Yeah. We're not judging. We're just reporting. Well, Pete's judging. We're all judging. I'm judging. We're judging. Yeah. Adjusted for inflation, it's the 145th highest grossing film domestically, between Meet the Fockers and the remake of Jumanji.
Huh. Really?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
It is weird.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me want to go into movies because you're like, man, anything goes.
Yeah.
Just try stuff. Doesn't even have to be good.
Yeah. Seems to be working for most people.
Yeah, the remake of Jumanji. Okay, I don't even have to work.
I actually like that movie. It's pretty good. And that's the end of the fun fact segment of the show.
Hey, I did have fun.
Oh, I'm glad.
And look at you, Tom. You're bringing the fun this season.
Somebody's got to. You think I
Well,
like this?
speaking of bringing the fun.
What?
Oh, hey. Wait, what?
Hey, this just in from Professor, highest domestic grossing professor
Hey.
2004, Professor Christy Porter.
Hound dog. I'm not calling Christy a hound dog, by the way. I would just sing the music hound dog. I would definitely never call Christy a hound dog. Yeah.
Is this scene sexual?
I think we've established that yes, it is in all sorts of ways and directions.
Okay, then she's got more.
Okay. Oh,
Okay.
Does Doc from Cars exist in this universe?
Wow. No, wait.
All right, there's John Hurt.
Yeah. Wait, what are you saying?
I don't know.
Wait, why'd you say John Hurt?
Wasn't Doc Paul Newman?
Yeah.
Yes,
Doc
he
was Paul
was.
Newman.
Yeah. And wasn't there something with John Hurt and Cars?
I don't know.
You know,
Gary
like
Newman in Cars?
Gary
I don't know.
Newman. I was like, I don't know. That was her question.
Okay.
Okay.
So
I'm
yeah,
thoroughly confused.
that's quite all right.
Thank you, Professor Christy
Perfect.
Porter.
Yeah.
Well, listen, that does it for minute 2. If you want to find us, if you just cannot handle another couple of days until you hear from us again, you can find us online at indianajonesminute.com. You can find all our episodes there, and you can find links to our TeePublic store over there where you can get t-shirts, phone cases, notebooks, all sorts of fun stuff. And please find us on, go over to iTunes, rate us, review us, and subscribe to us, and tell a friend.
Yeah.
You're an Indiana Jones fan. It stands to reason that your friends are Indiana Jones fans. Say, hey, hey, Paul. I'm just making up your friend's name. Hey, Paul, I listened to the Indiana Jones Minute podcast. It's really good. You'd love it. And then Paul will thank you later on because he loves it too.
And we would thank you immensely.
Yeah. Yeah. Send us Paul's address and his social security number, and we'll thank him. And please come back next time for minute 3 of Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
We need a t-shirt idea for this season. How about putting the oof in LaBeouf?
What's the graphic going to be for that one?
I want one that just says, "Hey, what do you got under there?" That's it.
Ooh.
Yeah.